Alright, let's dive into this because it's a situation that's got a lot of football fans talking, and personally, I think it's a perfect storm of challenges for Derek McInnes at Rangers. Here's the thing, Rangers are in a bit of a slump, and it's not just about the results, it's about the why behind those results. Let's start with the hook. Rangers, a club with massive expectations, are stumbling out of the gate, and McInnes is already feeling the heat. But what's really going on here? Is it just a rough patch, or is there something deeper at play? First off, let's talk about the Europa League qualifier in Poland. Rangers lost, and McInnes' post-match comments were telling. He called for his team to be far more stingy, and to defend the goal with our lives. That's a manager who's not just frustrated, he's seeing the same issues that plagued the team last season. And here's where it gets interesting, Rangers aren't just losing, they're losing in a way that feels familiar. It's like they're stuck in a loop, and that's a massive red flag. What makes this really interesting is that McInnes has a reputation for building solid, hard-to-beat sides. At St. Johnstone, Aberdeen, Kilmarnock, and Hearts, his teams were known for their defensive discipline. But this Rangers squad? They're the opposite. And that's a huge shift, one that raises questions about whether it's the players, the tactics, or something else entirely. Now, let's talk about the Hibs game. Rangers drew, but it wasn't just the result that stood out, it was the how. The backline, which has been a revolving door of players, struggled again. Vanja Dragojevic's penalty foul was just the tip of the iceberg. Here's the thing, consistency in selection is key, especially in defense. When you're constantly changing your back four, it's no surprise that the team lacks cohesion. But what many people don't realize is that this isn't just a tactical issue, it's a psychological one. Players need to build trust and understanding, and that takes time. Rangers don't have that luxury, especially with Europa League qualification on the line. McInnes himself said the Hibs result was harsh, claiming his team deserved better. Personally, I think that's a bit of a stretch. Yes, Rangers had moments, but they didn't do enough to win. And that's the bigger issue, this team isn't creating enough chances, even with two strikers on the pitch. Ryan Jack's commentary hit the nail on the head, Rangers are a club that demands results, and right now, they're not delivering. The fact that McInnes has already lost more home league games than he did in his entire tenure at Hearts. That's a stat that should have the boardroom worried. But here's where it gets even more complicated, the transfer market. Rangers have made 9 signings, but McInnes wants more. He's targeting wingers and defenders, but with Youssef Chermatai's injury and the rejected bid for him, things are getting messy. In my opinion, this is a classic case of a manager trying to fix multiple problems at once while under immense pressure. The question is, can he pull it off? Or is he spreading himself too thin? If you take a step back and think about it, this situation is a microcosm of modern football management. You've got a manager with a proven track record trying to implement his style at a club with sky-high expectations. You've got a squad in transition, injuries, and a European campaign hanging in the balance. It's a lot to handle, and what this really suggests is that McInnes needs to find a way to stabilize the team, fast. Because if he doesn't, the questions will only get louder. One thing that immediately stands out is the lack of consistency in both selection and performance. Allen's comment about consistency bringing results is spot on. Rangers aren't just inconsistent in who's playing, they're inconsistent in how they play. And that's a recipe for disaster. From my perspective, McInnes needs to find his best 11 and stick with it, even if it means sacrificing some depth. Because right now, the team looks like a collection of individuals, not a unit. So where does this leave Rangers? Well, Thursday's Europa League second leg against Jagiellonia Białystok is massive. A win could turn things around, but a loss, that could be catastrophic. Personally, I think McInnes needs to focus on the basics, defend better, create more chances, and find some consistency. It's easier said than done, but that's the job. And if he can't, well, then we're in for a very interesting season at Ibrox. What do you think? Is McInnes the right man for the job, or is this a situation that's beyond repair? Let me know in the comments, and don't forget to hit that like button if you enjoyed the analysis. Because one thing's for sure, this is a story that's far from over.